Dr. Nels here, and today we want to visit with you about raising kids to be great adults, and this section will be about freedom, curfews, and trust. Welcome back, friends. Dr. Nels here, coming to you today to build your values and principles so that you can be the best version of yourself in life, leadership, and business and family. And we want to visit today with you about curfews for children or young adults, and freedom and trust. And those three words go hand in hand, but can be not hand in hand at times. Curfew, yet giving them freedom, all while there is trust involved. And as we've walked with our children now that are 17 years of age, from basically 6th grade through junior high, and now juniors as they get older, and giving them freedom to do certain things, yet having the discipline to make good choices so they can continue to do more. It's been a challenge, but it hasn't been bad. But in my brain, it's been all about, we give them a little bit more freedom every step of the way. Every year things change. We give them more freedom. If they make a bad choice, then we rein that freedom in. And it's that constant stair-step cycle as they've gotten older. And they know that. They know that we'll give them more freedom if they make good decisions. If they make bad decisions, we'll rein that freedom in. But curfews has been a discussion over the years as that continues to get later. And I struggle with it. And for my wife, I guess, over the years, what has gone into your decision making when it's come to curfews from basically maybe sometime in junior high to where they're at today?
I think probably the number one thing that comes to my brain when we talk about curfews, freedom, all that kind of stuff, trust, is communication. So I think our kids are very good communicators. We may have a curfew or a time or what's supposed to be happening, but they are both very good at texting or calling or, I'm doing this, can I stay a little bit later, or this is where I am, what time do you want me home? And so I think for me, as long as there's constant not constant communication, because that sounds like
updates,
crazy,
periodic updates.
Yeah, but as long as we're communicating on what we're doing and what's happening and why we're doing it, then I think that more freedom exists. If that communication isn't there, then I'm probably less likely to give the freedom that they're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. I think our kids we're lucky that they are excellent communicators.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing that correctly, I've not heard her say that before, but we have fairly strict curfews, but if they're in communication with her or us, we will adjust sometimes accordingly, different nights, whatever events are going on. And I think she's correct. So from your kids, make sure they're communicating to you. If they're not communicating to you, then it becomes more hard and fast, and you need to get your butt home right now.
Right.
When the curfew is up.
Right.
Yeah. What's been a challenge, or what's been something that's bothered you or irritated either of you when it comes to curfews that we've put in place over the years?
Probably 9 o'clock. It comes pretty quick.
Now, 9 o'clock is a school night curfew.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And Nash is not always the best at getting up in the morning, so
No.
sometimes those things go into account when you're setting curfews as well, is what needs to be accomplished the next day, and how do we set up to win tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So part of this is just decision making, because as you can see, as parents, there is some strictness that needs to be applied and some discipline that needs to be applied, because we as young adults, the brain doesn't fully develop till we're 22, 23. And so consequently, because of that, kids need help making decisions, and that's okay. At the same token, we're trying to give them some freedom to help them make some good decisions along the way, so that when time is for them to leave, they've already been making all of their decisions. You just hope they've been making them right. Right? Anything with curfews that bother you, sis? Or
No. I think the only thing is like, if you say you have to leave wherever you're at, say like 11:30, but if you're all with your friends, you got to take everyone home. So then you got to leave really early. But I guess it is what it is.
So sometimes we have a curfew, and the hard part can be is, what if their friends have a later curfew? And Karen, how have you attacked that over the years?
I think it's all a little bit situational in what we're doing and where we're going, who we're going with, what the plan is. You know, if they're watching a football game at a buddy's house and the game doesn't start till 9 o'clock, you're obviously not going to tell him he has to be home at 9 o'clock, right? And it's all situational. So I think we've kind of just dealt with that on a case-by-case basis. I don't think it's ever been, you have to be home at 9 o'clock regardless, and it's Friday night, you have to be home at 11 o'clock regardless. I think it's all about just communicating.
There's a subjective number, but oftentimes it's an objective decision.
Correct.
We adjust based on things that are taking place. We also, since our son, he has a girlfriend, and so sometimes with that, things are a little different. Girlfriends or boyfriends versus friends, and curfews and what that looks like, right? When we've made some of those decisions, what comes to mind when it comes to any of that as we walk lines with girlfriends, or Mackenzie going to Sonic with a friend of the opposite sex? What, as you've answered those questions and put those guidelines in place, Karen, what comes to your mind in some of those differences? Friends versus friends of the opposite sex.
I still go back to, it's all just a little bit situational. And you know, typically if Nash is going to hang out with the guys, they're all going to go do something a little bit later because everybody's coming home from practice and eating and showering and that kind of stuff. So it's like the evening tends to start a little bit later. Would you say that's fair? So sometimes that allows itself to be a little bit later curfew because of that. And it's not necessarily, I think in Nash's brain, maybe sometimes it gets confused as trust on our part when it's one versus the other. It's not really a matter of trust, I wouldn't say.
No.
It's just a matter of boundaries being a little bit different, given this scenario. And that would be no different than if, you know, if you were hanging out with people that we didn't feel like you should necessarily, we're bringing out the best in you, right? Because the good news is for both of you, you surround yourself with people, whether it's friends or girlfriends or boyfriends that we believe are very good, wholesome people. And so that makes it easier for us to communicate and adjust accordingly. You know, if those circumstances were different, we would probably feel much different about it.
Yeah, so we think about curfews, freedom, and trust. And so Karen's saying whether it's friends or boyfriends and girlfriends, trust is a huge part, and who your kids are running around with is a huge part in our decision-making process on curfews. There is no necessarily truly set time. It all is situational and subjective, and we make our decisions based on those things. Weeknight, weekends, boyfriends, friends, girlfriends, friends. Who, because who they're with really, really matters. And if you find your kids hanging out with the wrong people, it may be time to step up some more aggressive curfew timings. And as you do that, and those conversations can be really, really hard if they're dating the wrong person, their friend crowd is the wrong crowd. It is our job as parents to put some boundaries in place, and they may not understand that. And that's okay. We have to help them understand, hey, we love you. We love you more than anything on this planet. And we're going to put some boundaries. We're going to put some boundaries in place to limit your exposure to this crowd of people because they're not helping you be the best version of you. And maybe you should ask them, are they helping you be where you want to be in life? Are they helping you achieve the goals that you want to achieve in life? And if your boyfriend or girlfriend or friends aren't helping you be closer, move closer to your dreams, aspirations, and goals, then what are we doing? And so the picture goes beyond curfews, freedom and trust, it's just a bigger picture. Maybe we'll come back to that on the next one. Our decision making us or taking us closer to our goals and where we want to be in life or not. So we hope you enjoyed this information. Click subscribe here. Give us your questions. We'll answer them to the best of our ability. We're just here to help. Thanks for joining us, friends. Thanks for your time.